So, um, so I get the question a lot. Love handles. How do you get rid of them? Right? How can I only target my love handles? It still sounds silly now because I know that, and you guys should know that you can't spot reduce fat. Right? If you have fat all around your body and you want to get rid of one specific section, it's impossible. Can't do it. Can't do it. You got to overall reduce your body fat as a whole, like just lose fat entirely. And at a certain point, that fat will also come off. It might be stubborn. Like for me, unfortunately, my lower belly is where it comes off the last, right? I could do everything perfectly and be dieting hard, but until I diet hard enough to where every other part of my body is, you know, eradicated of its fat, that little part of the fat will remain there until I die hard enough. It's just, it sucks, but it comes down to genetics and can't really fix that. So, no amount of ab exercises, oblique crunches, or side bends will directly burn the fat you love uh, from your love handles. Fat loss is systemic. Your body decides whether it comes off and not you, right? It's exactly what I said. So, essentially, I see a lot of people in the gym that attempt to crunch their way out of the fat and get abs, right? Like do a lot of side stuff. First of all, terrible exercise. Don't be doing that. Um, Ab crunches are okay, but they're not going to give you abs, right? Abs are more so revealed in the kitchen, right? Revealed through a good diet. And people get abs by training hard, going heavy, and consistently, doing one ab exercise and getting stronger at that, right? So why does love handles why are they so stubborn, right? Like why do you see people become frustrated with the fact that they can't get rid of that one specific area of their body fat, right? So why it happens, love handles are usually the last place that fat comes off because your body has genetically determined order for fat storage and fat loss, right? So it's completely genetic. So unfortunately, if you want to change that, the only thing you can do is switch your parents, which obviously you can't do, right? So the areas where you store fat first tend to be the last places that disappear. Um, so for most men, the waist and hip area, especially for South Asian men, it falls in the category of like, I'm sorry, but that might be the hardest place for fat to come off. And it's just the hard truth that you have to swallow. But the good news is you can fix it. And I'll get into that. So the only way that you can fix it is through obviously losing fat entirely, right? So I'll tell you exactly how to do that. But South Asian men often store fat around their waist and their hips, right? This isn't in your head. Look around, right? Look around, South Asian men. Yeah, there's a reason for that I'll get into, but genetically, I mean, a lot of South Asians are just in that category of like, I'm sorry, but you're going to be having most of your fat stored within the lower belly, right? And it sucks. I know. It's for me too. My parents, right? Like lean enough is probably for you is when that goes away. And unfortunately, lean enough might be so incredibly hard to get to because you have to go through every other layer of fat on the rest of your body, on your arms, shoulders, back, to finally get there, right? So it's just hard truth, but here's the solution. Enough being negative. The fix isn't targeting the area as I talked about. It's getting lean enough in a sustainable fashion so that it's not that hard to maintain that lower level of body fat. And you lose fat enough, eventually that fat will also pile off. Okay? So the way you do that is by keeping your calorie deficit aggressive, especially in the beginning, right? You want to have like a 700, maybe even 1,000 calorie deficit in the beginning. because fat loss only happens in a sustained calorie deficit. And if love handles are still there, the deficit doesn't the deficit either isn't real or isn't consistent, right? So if you think, oh, I'm eating 2,000 calories a day, and that's like a huge calorie deficit for you, odds are you're not eating 2,000 calories a day. Odds are you're eating like 3,000 calories a day, and that's why you're not losing fat. So it's just a you issue and not equation issue, right? It's a mathematical equation. You have the BMR, you eat less than the BMR, you will lose fat. It's that simple. But the confusion comes as well. People don't know how much they're actually eating, right? They think they're tracking and they're tracking 2,000 calories, but in reality, they're eating 3,000 calories. That's why I tell all my clients when I track for them, I'm like being overly critical. Like, worst case scenario, how much food are they actually eating, right? And that baseline, if we're inconsistently consistent with that, we know that there's no possible way. Like, it's foolproof to where they will lose fat, right? We are on the right track. So 3B, keep steps high. You're going to want to keep activity high because that is like the cherry on top, right? It's easy to stay in a calorie deficit if you're moving around all day, right? So aim for like 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. If you can get 12 to 15K, bro, you're golden, right? Movement is controllable and very underrated for fat loss. So definitely try to hit a good amount of steps every single day. 3C, build muscle while losing fat, right? So people will be like, "Oh, just cardio. Cardio is all I want. If I do cardio, I'll be skinny." And no, you're just gonna lose muscle and maybe a little bit of fat. Like, it'll be like you can't really control the fat loss. You'll just be losing weight. Losing weight, you know, by no means is the same thing as losing fat. Losing fat is great for your body, right? Getting rid of waste, looking better in the mirror. Losing weight, you could lose weight and look worse, right? You'll lose weight and look skinny fat. So muscle is a metabolically active tissue. So the more you have, the more calories you burn while doing nothing, sitting on your couch. So you might as well put in the effort to go build muscle while you're also trying to lose fat, and your body will radically change. Like, the toned body you want is on the other side of working out with weights, unfortunately. And the key line is the solution is not more ab exercises. The solution is getting lean enough for those areas to finally disappear. Like, love handles aren't a training problem. They're a body fat problem. So if you think that you can go in the gym and do a little crunch exercise to get rid of the love handles, sorry. Bad news for you. But the good news is, give it 3 months, right? Of consistent, sustainable dieting. And you're golden. You're golden. The fat will melt off. Trust me. I've had clients that lost 44 pounds of fat in less than 100 days. I've had clients that dropped, 20 pounds in a month. It's doable. It's doable. You just got to have the right system. If you want any sort of advice with that, reach out to me on Instagram at AkashGetsJacked, and we'll be in contact. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, in the description, book a call with me, and let's get to work.